Let me save you from the mistake that 95% of entrepreneurs make when they use AI to create content, and how to turn AI into your most profitable team member, and how I'm using AI to get 7.6 million LinkedIn views in 7 days, 1.7 million Facebook views in 24 hours, 124K Instagram followers, 39K YouTube subscribers, 50,000 LinkedIn followers, all organically in under 45 minutes a week, with AI-produced content that no one even knows was created by AI. If you've ever opened an AI tool and typed something like, write me a post about XYZ, stop. Seriously, stop doing that. Because ChatGPT itself even admits that doing that is what makes your content sound generic. And worse, that's why it doesn't convert. I'll show you how over 1,000 entrepreneurs are building what I call UAI, a trained AI that writes, sells, and sounds like you, and why this should be the very first thing that you set up before you touch AI again. Look, I already know what's happening. You're busy. You open up ChatGPT, you type a basic prompt, or use a prompt that you found from someone sharing on social media. You copy, you paste, you post, and crickets. Maybe a couple of sympathy likes, but no DMs, no leads, no sales. So you give up and write it yourself, wasting even more time that you don't have. Here's the truth that nobody's telling you, but I will. AI isn't failing you because it can't write good content. It's because of how these tools are actually built. AI tools like ChatGPT and Claude are powered by something called a large language model, an LLM. Essentially, they are fancy word-guessing algorithms, meaning that if you haven't trained them on very specific details formatted in the right way, all they're doing is guessing based upon the data that they've previously been trained on. So if you're just opening up any AI tool and typing in the chat with it, that means that you are using an unconfigured version. Kind of like hiring a VA and not even training them at all, then expecting that they're going to be able to do the job. Instead, you can customize ChatGPT to be perfect for you, no matter whether you want it to create you a sales script, social media copy, write you landing page copy, reply to your clients, and you do it by creating a custom GPT. But even if you've heard about creating a custom GPT before, or you've even tried it yourself, unless you're getting the views, leads, clients, and revenue that you want, please hear me out when I say that I know a different way to train your custom GPT that is going to drive you better results. And the same thing works for a Claude project, or if you want to create gems in Gemini. So if you've just been using the basic functionalities on ChatGPT or Claude right now, what I'm going to share with you in this video is going to change everything for you. Here's what happens when you stop guessing and start training the right way. Over $1 million in cash collected, millions of views on individual posts, hundreds of comments asking for free downloads, and thousands of new quality followers. And it's not just me. There are thousands of entrepreneurs just like you using UAI to get results like this every single day. And some of them might be your competitors. In fact, Karen Gallagher, who was brand new, was getting dead engagement, and she got 4 qualified inbound leads from her very first post that she created with UAI. So if your content isn't converting, it's not your fault. You've just been using AI wrong. So let me break it down for you. On ChatGPT, it's called creating your own custom GPT, and on Claude, it's called creating your Claude project. Please don't overlook what I'm about to say, because I'm going to show you a different way of doing this called UAI, which will ensure that your AI is doing exactly what you want it to and driving results. That's the difference here. Because unless you go into the back end of your custom GPT or your Claude project and feed it structured data formatted in a very specific way, it will keep generating content that sounds just like everybody else because it's a large language model. So here's what UAI is and why it works. UAI follows a 5-part framework. It stands for why, yourself, which is your backstory, tone, beliefs, and language. O, your offer, what you sell, your pricing, your positioning, and your customer psychology. U, unqualified words, banning cringy poetic words like skyrocket or harness the power of. That kills trust. A is authenticity, making sure your AI sounds like you, not Pinterest motivational quotes. I, instructions, giving AI specific jobs so it writes posts, emails, and scripts on demand. Let me be super clear here. UAI isn't just a cool name. It's a method. And unless you train your AI, whether it's a custom GPT, a Claude project, or a Gemini gem, on these 5 things with the right structure the right words, and in the right format, it will not sound like you. That's why we first start off by training the AI on yourself. I'm not just talking about uploading a few documents or telling it your life story. To illustrate, let me show you a bad input versus a good input. A bad input would be, I'm a leadership coach for women who want to grow their business. I believe in empowerment and authenticity. Instead, I want to show you what a good input looks like. As I scroll through this, let me ask you, can you see the difference? One sounds like everybody else and the other sounds exactly like my client. So if you're wondering, can't I just tell ChatGPT who I am and it's gonna remember? That's like whispering a brand story into the wind and hoping that it goes viral. Instead, you need to make sure that the AI is trained on your beliefs, your best ideas, and how your audience already relates to you, plus the exact phrases that you say on coaching calls or podcasts. So then your AI knows your journey, your values, and the actual words that you use. And it's done in a way so that your AI has context that it needs to write content that sounds like you and sells in a way that is aligned with you. We literally script your DNA into the AI, so it stops guessing and starts thinking like you. In fact, if you click the button below, you can get access to the exact framework and way that you need to train your AI on yourself so that you can be sure that it's going to work. In fact, if you want to see what it looks like, on the screen, I'm showing you how in-depth this is, because you get the AI to actually act as an interviewer to pull out the right information about you. And then in the advanced UAI training system that I have below this video, I also give you the exact way to frame all of the wording so that it's put in the way that the AI will understand. And then you don't have to keep training it again and again. You just do it once and then it's done forever. I'm still using the same one that I trained 18 months ago that's creating me millions of views every single month across different platforms like LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, and Threads. All right, so your AI sounds like you now. But let's be honest, sounding like you isn't enough if it can't sell like you can sell. This is where most AI content costs people serious money. Let me give you a real example. Bridger Rogers told me that he was using Claude to write content for his 6K coaching offer. And he was frustrated because the AI was making it sound like he was just selling a 997 course. So the content wasn't just off, but it was undervaluing his entire brand. And because he was spending so much time amending the content that the AI was creating for him, he just stopped posting altogether. So what do we do? Well, obviously we trained the UAI on him because the first step is yourself, but the real magic happened for him when we inputted details about his offer. So the emotional journey that his clients go through, his pricing structure so AI didn't cheapen it, the exact language that his clients use to describe their pain, and the real transformation that his clients are after. And I almost can't believe what happened within just weeks of us making these changes, because he didn't just start pulling in inbound leads from his content. He actually generated multiple six figures in cash. I still remember the DM that he sent me. One post booked 16 sales calls, closed 5K cash, and brought in 12K in revenue from one AI generated posts following this exact specific framework. That is what happens when your AI understands your offer just like your best sales rep would. If it doesn't, you're just hoping that the AI figures it out. So here's the question. Do you want the same frameworks that I gave to Bridger, not just for his offer and inputting that into his AI, but the entire UAI framework for every single one of the 5 elements? The ones which are formatted in a way that the AI really understands. Click the button below because they are waiting for you. Here's the deal. Because you're seeing this video, it means that the advanced UAI training is available to buy right now. So that means for every single element, YOU, AI, I'm going to tell you exactly what to feed into your AI, formatted in a specific way, plus the exact prompts and scripts to use, and step-by-step how to input it into either a custom GPT or a Claude project the right way. Because remember, like I told you, even the people that I see that have created custom GPTs, Claude projects, Gemini gems, they've tried to do it, but they've been missing a couple of pieces, which is why they're not generating the millions of views or the thousands of dollars in cash collected, unlike those that I have helped create their own UAI with. That is why more than 1,000 people are trusting this system at this point. So click the button below and you can get access to that immediately. Because if your AI doesn't fully understand your offer, it can't communicate it. So you've got to feed it what you sell, who you serve, why it's priced the way that it is, what objections people have, and what transformations you actually deliver. Just like we gave Bridger, and like we'll give you when you buy the UAI training pack via the button below. Because once you do that, AI stops writing fluff and starts writing content that feels real and converts. Speaking of fluff, Did ChatGPT kill the words skyrocket, boost, and supercharge, or is it just me? So let's talk about the silent killer of your content. Language that makes you sound like every other marketer on the internet. You know what I'm talking about. Phrases like unlock your potential, harness the power of, in today's fast-paced world. We've all seen it. It sounds like it came from a corporate blog in 2015. And here's why you've got to avoid that. Fake sounding content kills trust. Even if the message is good, even if the hook is solid, if it feels off to your audience, they will scroll right past it. In fact, I have a client, a no BS leadership consultant. She is a straight talker, she is sharp as a knife, and her people love her for that. But her AI was pumping out fluff like, step into your power and become the leader that you were born to be. She hated it. And guess what? So did her real clients, because the post sounded nothing like her. So here's what we did instead. Instead of typing into ChatGPT, stop writing like this, you don't sound like me, we went into the back end of the training system and we amended it. We spoke directly to her ideal fit clients. We pulled in the exact words that they have been saying when they have been speaking to her on coaching calls. We used the 17 psychological triggers to dive deeper. And then we created a banned list. We literally told the AI, you are never allowed to use these 30 trust-killing words. And just like that, her AI-generated content started sounding just like her again. But that wasn't the coolest part. The best bit was that she went from just 1 to 2 qualified leads a week to 8 to 10 high-quality qualified leads every single week consistently, more than 4xing her cash collected from social media every single week. And her AI clone created the content in less than 45 minutes of her on her laptop a week. So here's the bottom line. Your AI needs boundaries. It needs an unqualified words list. Because if your AI isn't speaking to your most qualified leads, you're only going to attract unqualified leads. So have unqualified words to push away unqualified leads. That's why every single client that my team and I at Scale Systems work with have a custom banned list. There are always 20 very specific words that we make sure everyone has in their unqualified list. But then for you, there are going to be some specific words that you should make sure your AI doesn't use because it won't be desirable to your ideal client. And yes, if you grab the UAI training via the button below, you will get the list of all of those 20 words and a few more that you should make sure you do not allow your AI to use. Because when your content feels real, your audience leans in and says, yes, this person is speaking just to me. I call that brainwave inception. And this is also how you make sure that your AI generated content doesn't sound like it was even generated by AI. So now let's talk about something that nobody really talks about when it comes to social media content. Because you can have the best hooks, you can be hitting the right audience, you can even explain your offer perfectly, but if it doesn't feel good when you post it, you'll stop posting. I see this all the time. People fire up their AI, get a post written, and then cringe when they read it. They say, this isn't me, this doesn't sound like me, this sounds cheesy, I'd never say this. And here's why that happens. AI by default tries to sanitize your voice. Remember, it's a large language model, so it wants to be desired by the most amount of people possible. But when it comes to personal branding, you don't want to sound just like everybody else. You want to sound just like you. In fact, I have a client, he swears like a sailor, and his clients love him for that. But when he was using a ChatGPT that was unconfigured, it sounded like content that came from a middle-aged woman's Pinterest board. It literally created him a post that said, step into your inner goddess energy. So we trained his UAI on transcripts from his actual coaching calls, clips from his podcast, and posts that had already performed well. And we fed the AI his real voice, gave it a style guide, so the AI doesn't just speak how it thinks he should speak, but how he actually talks when he is on fire. The first post that it created right after we trained the UAI, he told me, Lauren, this feels like me. And here's why that matters. When you like the way your content sounds, you will keep posting. And when you keep posting, you build momentum, because your posting today is your pipeline tomorrow. So the more momentum you have, the more results you'll have in the long term. And yes, the UAI training that I have in the button below, of course, it gives you the style guide and it gets you to train your UAI on your authentic voice. And now I want to talk about the glue that makes all of this work, which are the instructions that you need to give to your UAI so that you can build a custom GPT or a Claude project or a Gemini gem that actually does the work that it needs to do. Because most people treat their AI like a magic genie. They expect it to switch from writing YouTube scripts to client emails to content repurposing, all off of just one set of instructions. But let me ask you this, would you ask your hairdresser to build you a website if they had never built a website before? I don't know about you, but I would not. So why are you asking one AI to do everything for you? In fact, I'll give you an example. I had one client who had more than 20 master prompts saved in her notes app on her phone. One for Instagram, one for emails, one for YouTube, one for landing pages. And she told me that she was spending more time fighting with the AI, telling it how to amend things than actually getting results from it. And of course she was, because she was trying to get the AI to do too much. So here's what we did instead. We built multiple UAIs, not just one, each one trained for a specific job. Content UAI for hooks and social media posts, email UAI for conversational sales emails, coaching UAI to summarize client calls, and a sales review UAI to break down sales call transcripts, each trained with its own goal, but all using her own voice. And now her team runs her content process, her voice is consistent across every platform, and she's creating 10x more in a tenth of the time. And the best part for her was that she stopped being the bottleneck. You need a team of AI specialists. That's how you make AI work for you instead of you working for the AI. All right, so you've seen what's possible. You've seen how it works. Now let me show you how to get it done fast. Because once you've built your UAI, which by the way takes under 90 minutes, you'll batch a week of content in less than 45 minutes. And you'll get the content done without rewriting robotic posts and without wondering, why doesn't this sound like me? I'm handing you my full UAI setup for each of the 5 elements and exactly how to configure the AI step by step so that there's no way that you can mess this up, and to ensure that this only takes you a maximum of 90 minutes. All you need to do is click the button below and you will get instant access to the full UAI advanced training system right now. In fact, you're getting the exact training system that I have used to create a 7-figure business from content alone. Could you figure this out on your own? Maybe if you want to spend 18 plus hours testing, guessing, and uploading prompts until something clicks. But if your time is worth more than $10 an hour, even $5 an hour, you'll make that time investment back on day 1. Because when you click below, you will get instant access to absolutely everything that you need to build your UAI. So what that means is you're not just going to get told how to create a basic custom GPT or a basic Claude project. I will give you the exact frameworks and exactly what to feed into the back end of the AI configuration step by step for each of the 5 elements of UAI to ensure that it produces results for you, views, reach, and leads on social media, because that's what you came here for after all, and that's what me and my team are all about. So just click the button below, you'll get instant access to that right now. But you're not just going to get the full UAI training. You're also going to get my plug and play setup framework, step-by-step upload instructions, my private prompt vault, the ones that I use to go viral, the 20-word blacklist that eliminates trust-killing phrases, and real examples from top-performing creators and coaches. In fact, my client who runs an e-commerce business used his UAI, and in the first day, he sold $5,000 of products to an audience that was simply just not buying from him until now. Because this is a system that I use. It's what over 1,000 entrepreneurs are already using. It's how I've generated millions of views and millions in revenue without outsourcing my voice, without burning out, and without guessing. So here's the bottom line. If your time matters, if you're serious about building authority and getting leads and clients through content, if you're tired of generic AI that needs to be rewritten, then click the button below. This is what the top personal brands are already using, even if they're not sharing it publicly yet. The ones who move first, win the feed, win the trust, win the clients. So don't wait. Click the button below, get access to the advanced UAI training, and get your own AI clone today before someone else in your niche builds the AI that should have been you. Let's build your UAI. Click the button below and I'll see you over there.